has been so long since I made a video, and I apologize for that, but things have just been crazy. In my last video that I posted, or maybe 2 videos ago, I can't remember, I said that I would be posting a lot more frequently because it was Christmas break and all that. Well, it turns out that Christmas break is a really busy time. Who knew? Anyways, I was all over the place all Christmas break. I was out of town, visiting family, visiting my wife's family, and I didn't have a ton of time to sit down and make a video. And then school started. I got a new job. Anyway, it's just been hectic. So now that I'm like 2 weeks into my semester, 2 or 3 weeks, and I've had time to kind of get into a routine. And so now I'm hoping that I can crank out some content pretty, I don't know, semi-regularly. I don't know. I'm gonna try and put myself on some sort of recording schedule so that I won't have another 2 months where I don't post videos. So anyways, today I thought it would be good for us to kind of go over the sports world. I'll just kind of do some rambling. I wrote down a couple of things that I want to go over as the NFL season is wrapping up. The Super Bowl is next Sunday, and the NBA, we're about mid-season, almost, a little bit past mid-season even, so it's a good time to kind of reevaluate some of my preseason picks and see kind of where we're sitting at. So that's the plan for this video. I'm just gonna kind of ramble on. It's been a good couple of months for sports. It's been a roller coaster for sure. I think regardless of who you cheer for in any sport, it's kind of been ridiculous. And there was some huge news in the NBA that just dropped like 20 minutes ago. As I was preparing to record this video, I saw ESPN say something, but we'll get to that. But to start off, let's start with the NFL. I think I haven't really done an official NFL video. I think we just I drew the logos, and that was all we really did. But I thought a team that we need to talk about is the Commanders, for sure. I thought they had one of the most exciting seasons I've seen in a very long time for an individual team. 12-5 is just for the division that they're in and what they were expected to be, they completely, I don't even know, they did so much better than they were expected to, and this was supposed to be kind of a rebuilding season, I think, for them with the new head coach. They weren't expecting anything to, I don't know, obviously you have a lot of trust in any rookie quarterback that you select, but you don't expect him to win 12 games. I don't think anyone expects that out of a rookie, so it was incredible. I remember a couple of highlights from the season. Watching the ending of the Chicago Bears game live when he threw that Hail Mary, kind of kept their season alive, was insane. And then, of course, this most recently, against the Lions, it was just, it was amazing, unexpected. The Lions were my postseason pick to make it to the Super Bowl. Even when the Super Bowl, I wasn't sure, but I had the Lions in the Super Bowl, and I had Lions-Bills. I thought it was what it was going to be, but it turned hats off to the Commanders. Also hats off to the Lions. It's disappointing for sure to see the season end in the first round of the playoffs. Not the first round, I guess the first game that the Lions played. Or second. Man, wait a second. No, yeah, that was the first. I don't know, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure the Lions got the bye week, and so that was their first game was against the Commanders. It was the wild card. Anyways, it was all crazy. It was craziness, and the Lions had so many injuries that I didn't want to bet against them, but I was also hesitant just because their defense, it seemed like, had so many issues going on. But then in the end, it wasn't even the defense that was the issue, it was the offense and just unfortunate turnovers at the worst possible time that eventually ended the season for the Lions. But moving on from that, the Commanders versus Eagles, I also watched this game live, and I watched the Commanders kind of make a slow but steady march down the field and make a field goal off the first drive. And so I thought, this could be a game. And then Saquon on the first play of the game gets like a 60-yard touchdown all the way to the house, and it was off of a jet sweep, I believe, to the left. And just the pairing of Saquon Barkley with the legendary offensive line of the Eagles is just a recipe for success, a recipe for a 2,000-yard season. So it was super fun to watch that team all season. The run game is such a threat with them because of the tush push, which they execute to perfection. And then the addition of Saquon Barkley kind of adds another element of surprise to that offense that already had A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. So all around, and then Jalen Hurts, I guess kind of a dual threat quarterback. He can run. Anyways, the Eagles offense I have no worries about, especially coming up. I guess we can talk about the Super Bowl now against the Chiefs. I've got the Eagles. I don't think the Chiefs defense, as good as they are, and I give them that credit, they are a good defense, I don't think they're a match for what the Eagles have in store. I think the Eagles have kind of a unique offense in the fact that their run game is probably the most solid in the NFL right now, besides maybe like the Ravens. And their pass game is up there as well. Like Jalen Hurts is a solid quarterback, and they've got two number one receivers, two number one option receivers in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. So I don't know. Speaking of the Chiefs, I know everyone has lots to say about them, which is fair. It's understandable. I think that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are kind of entering the phase of that every really good sports team goes through, where they're beloved by everyone for a little bit because they're really good, and then they're hated by everyone because they're really good. It happened with Michael Jordan on that second three-peat. People started to, try to dig up things about Mike and the team and try to break them apart. It happened with Tom Brady. It happened with the Warriors, Steph Curry, during that little dynasty there for a couple years. I feel like everyone just gets tired of seeing the same people winning every year, and they always have the same excuses. I will say, the Chiefs they've had some favorable calls over the course of the season. I think every team gets favorable calls every so often. I just think that the Chiefs when it happens to them, it gets highlighted more because they're the Chiefs and they're winning. So people kind across the whole league at all the teams, they probably all get about the same amount of kind of, calls that could go either way. I think in the Bills game, the calls were okay. I thought there were a couple, the controversial fourth down calls, I really don't think were that controversial. The ball has to cross. Anyways, the only call in that game that I completely disagreed with was the Xavier Worthy catch. I think it was like third and 9 from like the opposite 40, and the pocket collapses. Patrick Mahomes has to escape out to the right, and just tosses sort of like a last chance to like the 4 or 5 yard line, I believe. Xavier Worthy and the Bills defender, they both go up for it. The Bills defender has, I would say, more possession than Xavier. They fall to the ground, the ball hits the ground, and they call it a catch. I don't think, if anyone had possession, I think it had to be the Bills defender in that situation, and the Chiefs were going to score a touchdown. I thought that was pretty bogus. A call that I felt like should have been overturned and ruled as incomplete. But that was really the only bad call I saw in the Bills-Chiefs game. I just think that, but it was one, the Bills lost by, 3 points? Pretty sure it was 2 or 3 points. So that call was very consequential. Say what you want about it. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, And we're here now. As much as I would have loved to see Josh Allen in a Super Bowl, and I would have loved to see Josh Allen in a Super Bowl, we're here again at Eagles-Chiefs rematch, and I'll watch. I really don't have a horse in the race. It would be cool to see Saquon win it after his first season with the Eagles, kind of being on a poopy team. With the Giants, there's a poopy team. Kind of having his first couple of years in the league squandered there, and but now he's here, and it seems like he's still in his prime. As far as longevity, I don't know how long. Running backs in general just don't last very long in the NFL, and so it would be cool to see him win a Super Bowl, because I think it would really change the game as far as how running backs are viewed and how they're a necessary part of every team. And the better running back you have, even if you don't utilize them that much, at least it's a threat that defenses have to be aware of and plan for. So I would like to see the Eagles win. I really don't care. If the Chiefs win 3 in a row, then it's not rigged. It's just, I don't know the word. I don't think it's rigged. I don't think you can get people to agree to that. Professional athletes that work their entire lives to get to the highest level, and then they get there and they find out that there's some sort of conspiracy against them. It would be all over the place. We would have whistleblowers like they do at Boeing, like left and right. People would be screaming that it's fixed, and no amount of money could keep competitors from being able to compete. That's the way I see it. Anyways, part of me thinks it would be cool to see the Chiefs win, just so I can say that I've seen a three-peat in the NFL while I've been alive. But I don't care that much to see them win. I do hope that Travis Kelce retires after this season. I firmly believe that he will, because he's definitely, I don't think that he's gotten worse worse. I just think he's gotten less focused, and his life has been so crazy recently with his new wonderful girlfriend that my wife loves, and movies and podcasts and just the media attention that the Kelceys are getting. I think he just wants to move on with his life, and that's fair because he's probably going to make way more money doing podcasts and going on WWE and broadcasting, whatever, being in movies. Maybe honestly that's the place for him right now, because the NFL, to be the best, it requires your full attention. I just don't think it's there anymore. And also when Travis leaves, Taylor leaves, hopefully. So that would be good news for all the real football fans. But yeah, I think Travis is gone. I hope the Eagles win. And that's pretty much it for the NFL. I don't really have a lot more than that. It was a pretty uneventful season, I feel like. I guess the only highlights from the season are things that I would write home about, I guess, were Jaden Daniels. I thought was great. Bo Nix, something special over there. Denver is definitely going to be a threat, and they were another team that I think was planning on just rebuilding after trading Russ away. But Bo Nix, another quarterback that was in college for a long time, and that experience proves to be very beneficial, I think. It sounds like both Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, they've been to multiple universities, played for multiple different head coaches, and so they're kind of used to that, the variety, and I think they really control the locker room pretty well. They know how to get the guys all rallied, so I think they're both gonna be great, and I think it might be something to watch going forward, is that those two duking it out for, whatever it is in the future, when all the other good quarterbacks are gone. So that's really it for the NFL. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that was really that interesting. So we will move on to my favorite sport, basketball, and talk about some of the things that have been going on there. So first we're going to talk about my Sacramento Kings. Man, there's so much to talk about. I'm honestly a little heartbroken about the Kings this season, because they have this certain knack to really make you believe that they're a really good team, and then crush that hope, and then restore that hope, and then crush it again. It's just been a whirlwind of emotions, and then especially with all the trade rumors and everything going on. My worst fear is that I'm sentenced to another 10 years of watching Sacramento Kings purgatory basketball, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to enter another Willie Cauley-Stein era of Kings basketball. If De'Aaron Fox gets traded, I do think we still have a good team. We could potentially get some good pieces for him, and I think Malik Monk honestly fills his shoes pretty well. You can't replace De'Aaron Fox, but you can replace the scoring that he does. And Malik Monk has kind of proved that, but let's kind of go in a progression. The Kings pretty much have stayed at 500 all season long. I think the highest they got was 3 games above 500, and then the lowest they got was 3 games below 500. kind of been in just that weird kind of mid area of can't really tell where we are at. And it's strange because I look at this lineup and I don't know if there's a better lineup besides the Celtics and the Thunder as far as like names on paper. We got De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Keon Ellis. Like, we've got a solid crew. And then we had Mike Brown until recently, but on paper this team, to me, at the beginning of the season, roster-wise, was one of the top 5 rosters, in my opinion. And it just hasn't meshed very well, and I'm not exactly sure why. I think I honestly can't say what is going on. I know that my preseason prediction was that they would get like the 4 or 5 seed in the West and go on and maybe make it to like the semifinals. I think they'll maybe at this point, and maybe this is just wishful thinking, but I think that they might get like the 7 or the 8 seed in the play-in tournament, and that's pretty much their roof for this season. I'm looking at all the teams ahead of them. You got the Timberwolves, who are going on a streak now. Got the Suns, who are also another team that have kind of just stayed at 500, but still have a better record. You've got the Lakers, who we will talk about in a second, because they just got Luka Doncic. That's... Anyways. Then you've got the Rockets, who I thought were going to suck, but they're good. You got the Grizzlies, and you got the Thunder. And in a 7-game series, I don't know who the Kings could beat in a 7-game series. The Suns, maybe. I'd give them a chance against the Rockets. Just based on matchups, I think Sabonis over Sengun, which is another conversation. Anyways, I had a lot of hope for the Kings, as I always do, but this year it did feel different to me because it felt like the DeMar DeRozan trade was kind of the last step to really get us into that contender category, and it just hasn't turned out that way. And I'll kind of dispel a couple of different theories I have as to why it hasn't worked out. And in the end, what I hope happens, what I hope is made as a solution to the problem that they're having, but I'm not extremely optimistic about the wishes of my heart. So the first theory I have is that there's just big contention in the locker room and kind of a lack of hope within the organization, and that comes from I would say that the top down. I think that the organization has made moves to make the team contenders, and they've made trades to get them into the position they are now. Excuse me, I said top down, I meant bottom up. I think the problem lies within, I think some of the players don't think that they can win a championship in Sacramento. And I think De'Aaron Fox might be one of those guys, unfortunately, because he is my favorite player. And I want him to stay in Sacramento. But I don't think he's happy, and I don't think that he thinks he can win a championship in Sacramento with that roster, with that GM, with that whatever head coach is there. The vibe I get from him is that he just doesn't think it's a big enough market, and he might be right. He really might be. And it sucks. And I really, really hope that he does not get traded, because I honestly, I've been a Kings fan for a long time, and I'm a fan win or lose. And I love watching Kings basketball because I think it has become one of the most entertaining teams to watch. And De'Aaron Fox is the guy that makes it that way. I don't care if we win a championship. I kind of enjoy the grind of every single year coming back and having a team that just fights. And I'll take that. I'll take the team as constructed, fighting every year but playing super enjoyable basketball and not winning a championship, because maybe I'm just selfish, but I just love the guys we got right now, and I don't want the whole thing to blow up. But I think from the players up, I don't think the players truly have that belief right now that a championship can be won in Sacramento, and it makes me sad that they think that, but I don't know any other reason that Fox would request a trade, because I feel like he's in a great situation. He's in an organization that loves him, has loved him since day one. And the team is making moves for them to be contenders, and I just don't think he really believes in the organization. He doesn't believe that it's a winning organization, and so it's hard. And half of me really understands if he does have a desire to leave. He's kind of been cryptic about what he really thinks about the whole situation. Kind of been saying, well, I didn't request a trade necessarily. They just put me on the market. I don't know. It's a weird situation for Kings and Kings fans right now, because I think we're on the verge of making a blockbuster trade and having something unexpected happen. So, but man, I love De'Aaron Fox. He'll still be my favorite player, even if he gets traded. But it just won't be a Sacramento King, which will make my heart sad. The Kings right now, I think, are on a 3-game losing streak, but we've also played, I think, the Knicks, and then tonight we just lost to the Thunder tonight, and then I think before that it was either the Cavs. So we've had a tough couple of games, but those are kind of the games that define who you are. If you can win those games, you can do well, and if you lose all 3 of those games, then that tells you about how good of a team you are. And I think it's been an insightful 3 days, 3 games. I mean, we had that. I think it was a 7-game win streak after Mike Brown got fired, and why am I spacing his name? Interim head coach. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. I'm sorry. He comes in, and I really thought for a second, like I said, they have this ability to make you think that they change one thing and it's really good for a while, and you have hope, and then they just... Anyways, I think we won a 7-game win streak, and I think we're on a 3 or 4 game lose streak, so it's just kind of, we get good, and we kind of just swing between being 3 games under 500 and 3 games over 500, and it's frustrating. But some other things I wanted to go over were some preseason predictions I had. I think I correctly predicted that the Boston Celtics and the Thunder would be really good teams, but I did not think the Cavs would be as good as they are. I didn't think the Lakers Lakers would be as good as they are, and I definitely did not think the Rockets were going to be as good as they are. I thought the Rockets were going to be at the bottom of the barrel. I pretty much had the Spurs and the Rockets switched. I thought the Spurs were going to be great, and the Rockets were going to suck, and it turned out to be the opposite. So, the Rockets, they play kind of a Detroit Pistons ball. I would say like a bad boys Detroit Pistons ball, where they just kind of have bullies, and play really good defense. Their offense really isn't super impressive, I would say. I haven't watched that many Rockets games, but just knowing their roster, I don't imagine that they're a very high-scoring team offensively, and most of their games come from having a good defense. That being said, I don't know really how good they are, because the West this season, I think the West is just really crappy. It's not good. The East is kind of taken over in my mind as the more dominant of the two. And you've got teams like the Cavs and the Celtics and the Knicks that I think are the three best teams in basketball, and I guess the Thunder, but I think the Thunder and the Thunder are the only really contender-like team I see in the West, and then out East there are 3 or 4 that the Bucks too, if they can get their crap together, but I don't know. It's been a strange season in sports, at least. And then tonight, the big whammy, as I'm preparing for this video, Luka Doncic gets traded from the Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I was watching TikTok with my wife in bed, and we were doing like a little sing-along thing. It was like, sing along if you would eat this food. It was really, it was a good time, but we were singing along to some Katy Perry song, and I get a notification on my phone, and I look at it, and it's ESPN, and it says that Luka Doncic has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis. And I was like, pause the music. I have to look at this notification, because my mind was blown. And I don't get this trade. I really don't. I think Anthony Davis, he's good. He's really good. Luka Doncic is better. He's a better guy to have, and I cannot believe this trade. And the Mavericks made it to the finals last year because of Luka Doncic. I'm blown away, honestly, and I think I was reading the article that ESPN posted, and there was some quote, I think, that said that the Mavericks, they said that they had a roster that can win now, but they thought that defense was more important than offense, which I generally agree with. But in this case, I don't think you give up Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, an aging Anthony Davis. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't think this makes the Mavericks better. Their starting lineup now would be like Kyrie, Klay Thompson, he's okay. Kyrie's still Kyrie. I don't even know who else you would on the Mavericks. Who else would they put in their starting lineup now? I don't know who else got traded, because I know it was like 2 guys from the Mavericks and then 3 guys from the Lakers coming over. Anyways, at the same time though, I don't really think this makes the Lakers better. It's kind of we will see how it turns out, but in the end, I think this might be one of those trades where it's kind of like the Minnesota Knicks trade that happened before the beginning of this year, where it was like, it seems like a sideways move for both teams, really. I guess in the case of the Knicks definitely got the better end of the trade and got better. And in this case, I think the Lakers definitely got the better end of the trade. But we will see. Maybe I really undervalue what Anthony Davis brings to a team, and we will see if maybe the Mavericks can just develop a chemistry fast and put AD in a system where, I mean, that offense last year, it was really just the rookie on the Mavericks catching lobs. So maybe that's something that they implement with Anthony Davis and can make it work, make him a threat offensively, and then defensively, obviously, he's a big presence. But it's hard to say whether this puts either team into that contention, for the Larry O'Brien. I will have to see. All I'm saying right now is that I'm shocked that this happened. I'm not gonna say, who won the trade. I mean, it's probably a win-win. I don't think either team, I think both organizations are smart enough not to do the trade if they don't think it's a win for them. But at the same time, it's what it is, and it's the first blockbuster trade of a couple that I think will happen. I think eventually the Kings are going to make some moves, and that's the unfortunate truth of it. But we'll see what happens. If De'Aaron Fox gets traded to the Spurs, I will watch so much Spurs basketball. I can't tell you how much I will be watching Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox chop it up. Maybe I'll turn into a Spurs fan. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. But I will be watching a lot of Spurs basketball if that trade were to happen. Man, I really don't have much else to say. I feel like maybe we will do like a reevaluation after All-Star break. Maybe after the Super Bowl, all of that, and that'll give us time to like see what happens with, when is the NFL draft? I don't even know. That'll give us some time to get more updates, more trades will happen, but thank you guys so much for still following, for supporting me. I'm going to try and make some more content more regularly, like I said. It's just really a matter of me kind of having an idea and going with it, so today was kind of just off the rip. I didn't really have an idea set out. I wasn't planning to make a video today, but I just ended up having some time tonight, and here we are. So nothing too special with this video, kind of just a rambling, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.